Good evening and welcome back. If you care about your wallet, your job, or the direction of the U.S. economy, this hearing matters more than it looks at first glance. And before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you do not miss our in-depth coverage of economic policy and Washington accountability.
This committee, Ms. Velasquez, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I want to raise a point of order,
Yes, ma'am.
but I don't want the clock to be eating my time.
I'm sorry. Yes.
I would like for the witness to be swearing in before I ask my questions.
The chair doesn't see a need for that. You may ask your question. Your time can start the gentlewoman's time over at 5 minutes.
Secretary Bessent, you were on CNBC earlier this week making claims saying we are very close and maybe we will see some deals this week on tariffs. So tell us, tell the American people, tell small businesses and consumers, tell retirees, specifically which countries are you close to striking deals with?
I'm sorry, Congresswoman, but that would not benefit the United States.
No, I'm asking you a question based on the statement that you made on CNBC.
And I am telling you that it would be detrimental to the interest of the United States for me to answer that question.
Why will that be detrimental?
Because as the negotiations may still be in process as we speak, as we are not at the end of the week yet, I am sure that you through your question, would not want to compromise the U.S. negotiating.
Reclaiming my time.
Would you?
Secretary Bessent, the president goes into a press conference and claims that there are negotiations going on. And then the next day, there's no negotiations going on. So why would you not answer my question? And that will be considered detrimental to the American people, to the American economy. I do not understand. Despite your claim,
I'm happy to say there are negotiations going on. I'm not going to reveal the details.
No filibuster. No filibuster here.
So how long do you think those negotiations will take before they are concluded?
There are numerous countries, as I have said, if you saw my CNBC interview, which you referenced, that there are 18 important trading partners, and we are moving forward at all deliberate speed with those.
Do you consider these negotiations advanced negotiations?
Some of them are quite advanced.
So you expect this deal to be more than memorandums of understanding? You expect them to be full negotiated trade deals?
I believe that they will be the agreements in principle, and then we will paper them over in the coming months. But once we reach an agreement, then I am sure that the other countries will live up to it.
Okay. In congressional testimony yesterday, you said the U.S. has not started negotiating with China on tariff reductions. Does that continue to be your position, yes or no?
As you may have read,
yes or no, sir?
As you may have read in the press, I will be going to Switzerland, and the negotiations will begin on Saturday.
Okay, so the president told you that that will be your answer today. So can you tell who from the Trump administration is engaged in those discussions?
Which discussions?
With China.
Trade discussions?
Pardon?
I'm sorry.
Trade discussions, yes, sir.
Well, the trade negotiations will be led by myself and Ambassador Jameson Greer,
And
USTR.
And what about Pete Navarro?
Sorry?
Peter Navarro.
He will not be joining us in Geneva.
Thank God for that. Are those negotiations considered advanced?
Pardon?
Are those negotiations considered advanced?
As I said, on Saturday, we will begin, which I believe is the opposite of advance.
Secretary Bessent, as Treasury Secretary and a senior member of President Trump's economic team, has President Trump given you the authority to finalize any trade agreement with China or any other trading partner?
As President Trump has stated, he will have the final decision on any trade agreement.
So you're telling me all of these increased prices, the stock market losses, the production delays are all based on the whims of Donald Trump, that you could strike the best deal with Canada, Mexico, or even China that is completely in our favor, giving us everything the administration
Gentlewoman's
is
time has
seeking.
expired.
And if President Trump decides at any certain
Gentlewoman's
moment,
time has
for whatever reason, not to take the deal, that will be it. I yield back.
The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Lucas, who is chair of our task force.
What unfolded during Scott Bessent's testimony was not just a tense exchange. It was a revealing moment about how trade policy is being communicated and arguably mishandled at the highest levels of government. The questioning began with a procedural clash, a congresswoman requesting the witness be sworn in before questioning, a request the chair dismissed. That decision set the tone, rushed, defensive, and unusually resistant to transparency. The core issue was tariffs, specifically Bessent's own public claim on CNBC that the United States was close to striking trade deals, possibly within days. That kind of statement moves markets, affects business planning, and shapes consumer confidence. So when lawmakers asked the obvious follow-up question, which countries are these deals with, Bessent flatly refused to answer. His justification was that naming countries would be detrimental to U.S. interests because negotiations were ongoing. That argument might sound reasonable at first, but here is the key thing viewers should understand. Trade negotiators routinely disclose the existence of talks without giving away leverage. Simply identifying negotiating partners is not the same as revealing terms. The refusal raised a bigger concern. Was the original claim on CNBC overstated, or was the administration struggling to keep its own story straight? Subscribe now if you want clear explanations of how these policy contradictions affect the real economy, not just political headlines. The tension escalated when the Congresswoman pointed out a pattern. The president publicly claims negotiations are happening, then officials walk that back the next day. Then came the most revealing moment of the exchange, China. Just one day earlier, Bessent had testified that the U.S. had not begun negotiating tariff reductions with China. When asked if that was still true, he initially dodged, then admitted negotiations would begin in Switzerland on Saturday. That timing matters. It suggests the administration was still finalizing its messaging while appearing before Congress. When the Congresswoman asked whether that answer had been directed by the president, Bessent did not directly deny it, and when asked who from the Trump administration would be involved in the China talks, he stalled again, asking which discussions, buying time and offering no clear names.